When an empath finally becomes avoidant, people notice, but they misunderstand it. They say, "You changed." They say it like you became colder, harder, distant. What they don't see is that your heart didn't close. Your access did. Because after being hurt too many times, an empath doesn't stop loving, they stop leaving the door unlocked. If you felt yourself pulling back from people you once would have fought to keep, there is nothing wrong with you. Something inside you finally learned what your mind kept trying to explain away. You didn't change. You learned that being open with the wrong person doesn't create intimacy, it creates leverage. You learned that the people who demand closeness often struggle to respect it. You learned that kindness doesn't guarantee care. And after enough of that, your body begins protecting you before your mind can make another excuse. That's what avoidance looks like in an empath. Not indifference, self-preservation. In the beginning, you weren't avoidant at all. You leaned in. You replied quickly. You checked in. You noticed the pause in someone's voice, the shift in their energy, the silence that meant something was wrong. You tried to soothe it before it became conflict. You gave people the benefit of the doubt. So often that doubt became your way of living. You believed connection was built through patience. You believed that if you explained yourself clearly, a decent person would meet you there. So you communicated honestly. You said, "That hurt." You said, "I need consistency." You said, "Please don't talk to me like that." And you said it carefully, not because your needs were small, but because you were trained to make them sound that way. Then the pattern began, not one big betrayal, but a repeating lesson. You opened up and it was minimized. You asked for clarity and it was postponed. You tried to repair and it turned into a debate. You said, "I felt disrespected," and heard, "You're too sensitive." You said, "I felt abandoned," and heard, "You're overthinking." You said, "I just need reassurance," and heard, "You're needy." Each time a quiet message landed deep inside you, "My feelings cost too much here." It shows up in small moments. You send a simple, honest message, nothing dramatic. "I've been feeling heavy lately." Hours pass. Then the reply comes, "Lol, you always do this." Not with anger. Casually, like your pain is just a personality quirk. That moment doesn't always start a fight. It creates a rule in your nervous system: don't bring your softness here. And people call that avoidance. But really, it's learning. An empath becomes avoidant in stages. First, you choose silence over being misunderstood. Then you choose space over explaining. Then you choose distance over disappointment. Eventually, you choose nothing over repeating the cycle. From the outside, it looks like you stopped trying. From the inside, it feels like you stopped bleeding. What most people never see is how many times you tried before you pulled away. How often you stayed calm while your chest was tight. How many times you softened your truth so they wouldn't get defensive. How often you accepted half apologies because you didn't want to lose them. How many times you told yourself, maybe they don't realize. The moment you become avoidant isn't when you stop caring. It's when you realize your caring is being used against you. Sometimes it's obvious. You share something vulnerable and later it's thrown back at you in a fight. You admit a sensitivity and it becomes a joke. You reveal a fear and someone presses on it when they want control. Sometimes it's subtle. You say what you need, they meet it, for a day or two, then they stop. When you notice, they act like you're unreasonable for even paying attention. That's not inconsistency. That's conditioning. Training you to accept crumbs and call them meals. An empath can tolerate a lot, until one day something changes permanently. Your body reacts before your mind can explain. A name lights up your phone and your stomach drops. Not because you hate them, but because your system has learned that contact means effort. Explaining, bracing, being careful, walking into a room where you never know which version of them you'll meet. So you delay replying. You stare at the message. You feel tired. You type, delete, and think, if I answer, I'll spend the next hour managing their reaction. That isn't love. That's survival. And survival always chooses the quietest path. People say you used to be so loving. What they really mean is you used to tolerate more pain. You didn't become cold. You became selective. You didn't lose depth. You stopped giving it away. You didn't go silent because you have nothing to say. You went quiet because you're tired of saying it to people who don't listen. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes your understanding wasn't maturity. It was fear of being left. Sometimes you forgave quickly because you didn't want to be difficult. Sometimes you stayed because you loved who they could be, not who they were. After enough pain, vulnerability stops feeling like a gift. It starts feeling like a risk. So you pull back. You stop sharing details. You stop initiating. You stop inviting people into your inner world until they've shown, consistently, that it won't be used as entertainment, ammunition, or inconvenience. And this matters. Avoidance can be wisdom, or it can become a cage. Wisdom is pulling away from what's unsafe. A cage is pulling away from what's safe because your body can't tell the difference yet. That's where many empaths get stuck. not unreachable because they want distance, but because closeness has been paired with pain for so long that their system flinches at being seen. So here's one grounding question. Am I pulling away because this is unsafe, or because I'm afraid of being seen? If it's unsafe, your distance is a boundary. If it's fear, your distance is a wound asking for gentleness. You don't have to disappear. One sentence is enough. I want to respond, but I need a little time to settle. That sentence protects you without erasing you. It teaches your nervous system that closeness doesn't have to mean losing yourself. Many people never recognize the harm they caused. Not because they're evil, but because they hear pain as criticism. They defend, they flip it, they make it about your tone, your sensitivity, their stress. And you walk away feeling guilty for having a feeling at all. After enough of that, avoidance feels like the only place your dignity survives. And here's the part that hurts the most. Some people didn't love you. They loved what you provided. Your patience, your emotional labor, your ability to keep things calm. When you stop providing that, the connection doesn't deepen. It goes quiet. That silence tells you everything you were afraid to know. You weren't avoidant. You were aware. And if you're wondering whether your distance is healing or hiding, look at what it produces. If it brings peace, clarity, and better choices, it's healing. If it brings numbness and isolation, it's a signal your nervous system needs support, not more walls. The goal isn't to become open to everyone again. The goal is to become available to what is safe. You are not broken for pulling back. You are not cold for needing space. You are not avoidant for refusing to keep paying the same emotional price. You are someone who finally learned what their kindness was costing them. And if it feels lonely after you step back, remember this. Loneliness after a boundary is often just withdrawal from chaos. Peace can feel empty before it feels like home. It's normal to feel guilt, second-guessing, and even shame when you first become avoidant. Your mind will replay old patterns, whispering that maybe you overreacted, maybe you're too sensitive, maybe you should just try harder. But listen closely, those voices are echoes of a system conditioned to absorb pain without protection. They are not your truth. Your truth is your survival, your clarity, and your inner peace. The more you honor your boundaries, the more you teach others how to treat you. Not with manipulation, not with resentment, not with judgment, but with respect. Respect doesn't always come from those who hurt you before. Sometimes it comes from your own commitment to yourself. And every time you say no, every time you pause, every time you choose silence over compromise, you are teaching your nervous system that love and care are not synonymous with exhaustion and sacrifice. Avoidance in an empath is not withdrawal from life. It is strategic. It is discerning. It is choosing the connections that actually nurture your soul over the ones that deplete it. It is refusing to let your heart become a doormat again. It is reclaiming the energy that was once spent cleaning up emotional chaos, soothing wounds that weren't yours to heal, and bending into shapes that were never meant for you. The empath who becomes avoidant learns to recognize energy drains, manipulations, and subtle forms of emotional exploitation. They notice the patterns, not just the moments. They see the red flags, not just the apologies. And they understand that self-preservation is not selfishness. It is wisdom earned through experience. Being avoidant doesn't mean you stop caring about humanity or the people you love. It means you care enough to stop giving your emotional labor where it is not valued. It means your heart is still open, but your access is guarded. It means your kindness is no longer free-for-all. It is selective, intentional, and sacred. To all empaths reading this, know this. Pulling back is not failure. It is not betrayal. It is not proof that you are incapable of connection. It is proof that you have survived, learned, and evolved. It is proof that your heart is strong enough to choose when, where, and with whom it will fully exist. And sometimes, just sometimes, the people who remain in your life after this transformation are the ones who deserve the full depth of your love. They are the ones who have shown consistency, respect, and care, not just in words, but in actions. They are the ones who meet you where you are, not where they want you to be. So continue to honor your pace. Continue to protect your energy. Continue to cultivate relationships that feel like nourishment, not obligation. Because in the end, avoidance is not loss, it is liberation. And when the world questions your distance, when they whisper, "You used to be different," smile softly. You are different, yes, but not because you lost love. You are different because you learned the priceless value of your own. Subscribe to the Dr. GABOR MATÉ Inner Healing.